Hello everyone. Welcome back to Kenspire Business Mantra and welcome to one another interesting next step of doing business. Friends, in the last episode, we discussed about the importance of strategic business plan and how to prepare it and what are the various elements that are required to be included in a strategic business plan. Having decided the next 5-year detailed step, now it is time to look into the short term, which is the next 1 year. So in this episode, we are going to talk about annual business plan, its importance and its ingredients. So as the name itself is suggesting, this is basically for the ensuing financial year. What is going to be the business plan? Right. Broadly, it will be guided by the strategic business plan and the vision document, and much more detailed in terms of defining the various elements of a business plan. I'm using the word elements of a business plan very consciously, as in the next few minutes we'll be going through each and every one of them, and so much detailing would be required. Again, I reiterate, this is not just about putting some number into an Excel. This is about defining what you are going to do, defining your plan in writing, and various action items that are required to implement such plan, and resultant numbers will come. So the more details you are going to include in a business plan, the chance of you being successful in implementation is very, very high. A lot of times entrepreneurs have told me, sir, when you have a target, when you have a goal, when you have a business plan, it's important that we achieve it. You fix 100 and then keep on achieving 60, 70, 80. It is not great. When you fix 100, 95 to 105 is kind of acceptable, not too much of deviation. If you want to do such kind of a performance, then you can take this approach. Now, we'll get into the elements of an annual business plan. First, obviously, it will start with your product plan. What are going to be the products which are going to be I'm going to be working this year in my business? Some of them will be my existing products, and some of them I need to develop. So new product development strategies should also be clearly defined. How and when. Second, once you are clear about the product plan, then translate it into sales plan. Each product wise, how much sales it will bring, and quarter wise and month wise it has to be divided. And if you also have a field sales team, then each salesman wise, territory wise, geography wise, such sales plan should be defined. If possible, if you are in B2B business, clearly define customer wise projected business, and these various dimensions will strengthen your case for success. Going forward, inventory plan. When we say inventory, it is total inventory. Your raw material, work in progress, finished goods, and other materials. What is going to be your plan? What is going to be your procurement plan? What is going to be your stock plan? Whether you are going to implement just-in-time methodology from your suppliers, whether you are going to import, whether you are going to depend on local supplies, how strong is going to be your stores, whether you are going to have a main stores and sub-stores, whether you are going to operate warehouses for supply. Everything defined carefully in your inventory plan. And also, you should be able to define the inventory carrying period. For example, in certain businesses, you need to carry a 5-day inventory at any given point in time, or 10-day inventory. Clearly define how many days raw material you need to hold, how many days finished goods you will have to hold. Whether you're going to work on a supermarket concept. A supermarket concept is basically wherein the production will not produce based on sales plan. Production will keep on replenishing the supermarket and marketing will sell from the supermarket. So there are various methods of inventory planning. Get into the detail and define it. Next, manpower plan. What is the kind of manpower that is going to be required for my ensuing year? What is the fixed manpower? What are the variable manpower I'm having? Now, this is a very important aspect to be defined. Often, I find that the fixed manpower becomes variable manpower as an organization grows, because there is no clarity, there is no definition of what kind of manpower that is required. So clearly define it. You should even define skill matrix for each and every person in the organization and map it with the competency which is available with the existing team. A subset of manpower planning is your recruitment plan, your attrition control plan, everything. Manpower planning in toto should be there. Then your infrastructure planning, whether your capacity is sufficient to support your revenue plan, sales plan. Assuming your plan to double your business compared to the last year, whether your infrastructure will support it, the core manufacturing infrastructure, the support infrastructure, and the other office and other requirements. Next one, what is your overheads pattern and overheads plan? This is a very important area, indirect expenses basically. Control over indirect expenses is very important aspect in terms of controlling it within the budget. Otherwise, it can go haywire. This is supposed to be fixed, but it can sometimes become semi-variable. Clarity on cost of production and cost of goods sold for your various products. It should be clear in your management accounting sheet, so that you are clear about what is going to be contribution from each and every product and how much I can spend for my indirect expenses and how much will I be able to earn as net profit after my overheads. After all these things, the next comes the financing plan. How am I going to support all these investments into capex or working capital through own sources, internal accruals, or bank finance? Clearly depict it and how your working capital cycle is going to be there and what kind of efficiencies you want to build. All those things you can build here. With all these sub-plans, arrive at your projected profit and loss account and projected balance sheet. Then it will be a very scientific approach in preparing your business plan. Then break up each and every line item of expenditure, clearly fix the budgets for every line item so that it will be useful for the control of this expenditure during the year. Once you have the profit and loss account and the balance sheet, arrive at the projected ratios in terms of if your profit and loss account, the contribution ratio, the GP ratio, your net profit ratio over sales, everything to be clearly defined. Also, in terms of balance sheet, your current ratio, your debt equity, your net worth, everything to be clearly defined, TOL, TNW. These important ratios to be clearly defined in the business plan. With all these details, your business plan becomes complete, becomes a very beautifully workable document, implementable document, and much clarity will emerge, not only for the entrepreneur, but also for the entire organization to work on. And every month, when you're going to prepare your MIS, your P&L account, you have something to look and compare. This is what we were supposed to do. This is what we have done. So that, it becomes a very important analysis point in your review meetings. We'll talk about review meetings in a much detailed way in a later episode. But please understand, without a proper detailed business plan and a budget document, your review meetings will not be effective. That is what you should keep in mind at this point in time. So friends, Take this approach in clearly defining your annual business plan. Go as detailed as possible. I would always suggest for a typical April to March financial year, the business plan should be ready by end of February itself, so that you are well prepared to face the next financial year. This brings us to the conclusion of this episode on annual business plan, and wishing you all the best. Look forward to seeing you all in the next episode of Kenspire Business Mantra. Thank you.